Hello and welcome to the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League, live tonight from the Nürburgring Nordschleife. 14.17 miles and 154 turns make up this course, and it is going to be a very interesting race with these drivers out here. I know a lot have been looking forward to this. One of the most difficult tracks in the world, if not the most difficult track, often referred to as the Green Hell, as you're driving pretty much through the woods in a very windy, twisty, turny, up and down racetrack. You really have to have a great memory to remember how to get around this racetrack. And I am so looking forward to seeing how these guys race it up here. Bigger field than we've had the last few races, and hopefully they put on a nice, good, clean show for us here this evening. They are about to wrap up the qualifying session right now. Clint Fletcher currently fastest in the session as a couple cars go off right there. Kellen Crocker, we're taking a look at here, riding fourth in the qualifying session so far. Just 2.5 minutes left for him to try and complete this lap. We will have the track map down in the bottom right of the screen as we get going here in a bit, but definitely thank you for joining us here tonight with the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter. Tonight's race is race number 6 out of the 10 race season here in the summer. Next season coming up is going to be the fall season as Crocker goes around there on that lap. And Jesse Brannon goes off right there. We're going to be seeing a lot of that. Lap times for this track in the 7-minute range. Clint Fletcher with the 7:03.2, currently almost 3 seconds faster than second place on the qualifying boards. Brian Kennedy, another 2 seconds off of that, so you can see just how long the lap times are here. They'll only get 3 laps per race, but that still equates to over 40 miles. 20-minute sprint races. We'll have 2 sprint races tonight as the format for each and every week this season, and the field will invert after qualifying and then invert between the 2 sprint races as well. Of course, cheer on your favorite driver here tonight. Let us know you're out there, who you're rooting for, and who do you think is going to win the sprint races here tonight. We do want to thank the sponsors, Beltway Brew Company, as well as SEO Mike. You can learn more about them at the halfway break or in the video description as well. This track, such an old surface. They've been racing here for a very long time. I'm not sure any races actually happen on this track anymore. You can take your passenger car out onto portions of the racetrack and drive around, and there are a lot of crashes that happen around this place. All these blind corners in the old surface just make it such a challenge, as well as the complicated layout and unpredictability, essentially, of this racetrack. We ride on board here. This is David Curtis, still looking to get his first lap time in, and I don't think he is going to get one in, but at least getting a little bit of practice here as the clock winds down. We're going to head to the starting grid for sprint race number 1 here tonight. Should be a very exciting race, and so much looking forward to this one. It looks like David Curtis will be starting on the front row here. Let's take a look at the overall starting grid. This is how they qualified. So Clint Fletcher going to be awarded the fastest time. He'll start at the back of the field, though. We are going to have to go through this the old-fashioned way. David Curtis going to be rolling off from the first position here. Carlos Bond second. Colin Kortnick going to be starting from the third position. See if we can get a better view of this. Darren Treacle starting fourth. Rafael Torres starting from the 5th position. Andrew Van Cleef starting in 6th. Donnie Eiley starting in 7th. Matthew Gazenda going to be starting in 8th. Mike Nickham 9th. Justin Craig rolling off from 10th. Dean Tulane, he'll roll off 11th. Jesse Brannon starting in 12th. Kellen Crocker will be rolling off from the 13th position. 14th is Brian Kennedy. 15th is Adam Pohl. And rounding out the field tonight is going to be Clint Fletcher in the number 69 machine. So 16 cars here this evening. That is quite a bit more than we have had in recent weeks. It's almost another 50% more. So definitely cool to see guys coming back out for this one. Taking a look at the standings coming into tonight's race. It is still Brian Kennedy with the points lead. He has no victories yet this season. Adam Pohl about 11 points behind him. Clint Fletcher another 4 points back. Alan Crocker about 28 points behind Brian Kennedy in the 4th position. And then Justin Craig 29 points back. So it's still anybody's championship here. 6 races in as we do get rolling. And you can see the track map down there. It's a big racetrack. 14.17 miles in length for this configuration. Of course, there is the Formula One racetrack around this this circuit as well. It's at one end of it. And they are not going to be racing on any part of that here tonight, as David Curtis looks like he's going to get sent to the back. Not sure if there's an issue there, but that will promote, looks like, the 35 of Colin Kortnick. And then, yeah, we're a little bit all mixed up right here in the field. Not sure what's going on with that, but the number 1 machine, Matthew Gazenda, he'll be starting up towards the front here. His pace truck makes the hard right-hand turn onto the pit road here, and we are going to be off and away. And Colin Kortnick's going to get us going. Green flag in the air. And off into turn number 1. Going to be a little bit tough for me to keep track of all of the corners here. There's over 150 on this racetrack. So if you know the names of them, that is something that I am not familiar with. As battle for the race lead already, Rafael Torres, Colin Kortnick. Through the right-hander here, it's going to be the 35 leading the 777. Justin Craig rides in 3rd. Behind him, Jesse Brannon, Mike Nickham, Matthew Gazenda, and Brian Kennedy, as well as Clint Fletcher, the bright pink machine, fastest car there in qualifying and already a race winner this season. He's going to try and work his way forward from 8th here, already 4 seconds behind the leaders, battling for position. There's going to be quite a bit of drafting as they work side by side for the race lead. Here comes Torres, now looking driver's right, and the 777 machine up over the hill, back to the left at high speed here. And Torres will take the top spot away as they slow down hard on the brakes back to the right. Behind them, Justin Craig, Jesse Brandon starting to close in. And Clint Fletcher has gained a position now, passing up Callan Crocker, and he sets his sights forward on Brian Kennedy and Mike Nickham. Behind them, the 11 machine of Adam Pohl, trying to make a move right there as they go through, snaking down this stretch of the racetrack. And everybody's just kind of playing follow the car in front of you because it's so tough to remember your way around this racetrack on your own. If you haven't had a lot of experience here, many of these guys probably quite a bit of experience with the 24-hour race. As Mike Nickham leads this group 5th on back. It looks like Carlos Bonds has had problems already. He's 15 seconds behind. Donnie Eiley losing control, saves it in 14th position. Close call for him. Oh, and he's going to slam the wall now. Just, I don't think he had an idea of where he was on the racetrack at that point in time. But it is pretty well stacked up here. Darren Treacle in the Mercedes, in 12th position. Starting to close up on Adam Pohl, who rides 11th. No real passing going on around here. Clint Fletcher really putting the pressure on Brian Kennedy, though. Points leader and 3rd in the standings. And side-by-side battle farther up, Colin Kortnick and Jesse Brannon. And it looks like Kortnick will back out of it there. What a run here for Clint Fletcher. He's going to try and work alongside Brian Kennedy. He will get there. Certain areas of this track, though, you definitely do not want to be side by side, as now Brian Kennedy actually with the preferred lane gained a little momentum there, trying to get back alongside Mike Nickum. Not going to be able to. And they'll go nose to tail farther back behind them. Gazenda side by side with Adam Pohl, who's just gotten by Dean Tulien. And high speed section of the racetrack here, over 140 miles an hour on the brakes, though down to 110, even slower than that. And looks like big checkup up here as Clint Fletcher moves all the way to fourth, in contact behind him. The 57 of Mike Nickum, who's got a bit of damage on the right front, must have caught it through one of the chicanes. And now Brian Kennedy with the damage as well. They go through the carousel. That's one part of the track that I do know. Adam Pohl, Darren Treacle, or Dean Tulien side by side. Treacle and Gazenda side by side for the top 10 position there. Oh, in contact, Tulien trying to hang on to it. Able to do so, and Adam Pohl on through to 8th position. He's the points leader up there in front of him. An opportunity to gain some points. With Kennedy having some damage right now, but it is all going on 2.5 seconds or more behind Justin Craig. The hang loose Mercedes definitely hanging a bit loose right there as he comes down the hill back to the right now. And off the racetrack goes Clint Fletcher, or sorry, Jesse Brannon. And he will lose the 3rd position to Clint Fletcher, and another car off there. That is Mike Nickum. Gets back on here right in front of Adam Pohl, and another bit of dirt kicked up right there as Brannon, and oh boy, there goes Crocker hard in the wall. Brian Kennedy gonna try and sneak through, and he will. Behind him, can everyone else get through? As a big hit for Calvin Crocker leaves the Mercedes off the racetrack as he gets rolling now. Let's take a look here. His car is still continuing to close up. There's contact right there. Sent Brannon around. Hard contact for both of these drivers. Head-on collision there. And everybody able to stay off and check up here. As issues for Calvin Crocker. Looks like the engine has expired on that. His teammate, meanwhile, leading by nearly 5 seconds. Clint Fletcher has gained 14 spots in this race, up to 2nd. Still working lap number 1, but coming back towards the end of this lap. And they work down this long straightaway here. They're going to hit speeds upwards of 150 miles an hour. Justin Craig out in front, his gap decreasing just a bit as Fletcher, with the perhaps more powerful Mercedes, starts to chip away. Both cars topping out right now 155 miles an hour. And we've got a battle farther back here. Mike Nickum, Dean Tulien, and Adam Pohl. Tulien into 4th, Pohl into 5th. Here comes Treacle as well. And Adam Pohl. Oh, it's Tulien too late on the brakes there. Goes off into the barrier. That'll let the 11 on through. And here comes Treacle as well. Tulien still trying to get it going. Back on track now. All those cars, 4 cars in the pits. Going to be done for this race, I believe. And Mike Nickum has taken it in as well. Going to get his fast repair completed as the race leader starting to see his gap disappear. It was about 5 seconds when they were working up that hill, but Clint Fletcher's already chopped it down to 2.5, and clear racetrack between himself and the leader, as you see right there. That gap continuing to shrink down to 2.6 seconds. Brian Kennedy also chipping away at the moment. Adam Pohl, Darren Treacle. So the top 5 fastest pretty much you would expect are up here and could be battling for this race win. Gazenda and Tulane side by side, 6th and 7th. And it looks like we are missing a few guys tonight that are regulars here. Scott Kim, I believe, was traveling, not able to attend here tonight, but we'll see him back here in hopefully next week or in a couple weeks. This battle nose to tail here, Tulane and Gazenda. And Tulane should have a little bit of damage. Remember, he made contact with the wall not long ago. Towards the end of lap number 1 as they work lap number 2. The gap for the race lead continues to shrink, 1.7 seconds. As Clint Fletcher just rabid right now on a mission. Get up there and get that race lead. Really fun stuff here so far. In this one, looking for battles for position, it's just Gazenda and Tulane as Adam Pohl and Darren Treacle about a second apart as well. That is 4th and 5th. And I believe I heard contact. Possibly Dean Tulane. Oh, that may be just Gazenda going up over the curb and some squeaking going from the suspension of that number 1 car. But it is going to be on for the race lead. The hang loose number 208 of Justin Craig has seen that 5 seconds disappear in less than half a lap. Fletcher is there. And he is closing in. So the 69 of Clint Fletcher and the 208 of Justin Craig going to be doing battle here. If they battle for long enough, Brian Kennedy and the rest of these top 5 could start to close in. We'll see how long Justin can hang on here. He's seen that lead evaporate. And here comes Fletcher right to the bumper, trying to find a way around the 208, making that car very wide. Think of this as essentially driving on a public road and racing for 14 miles each lap. That is about what it's like racing here at the Nordschleife. As a little bit of grass kicked up there by the 69 of Clint Fletcher, who's really pushing the boundaries of this racetrack, trying to find some way past the other Mercedes. And as they continue to race nose to tail like this, Brian Kennedy's actually losing a bit of ground. But that will probably not be the case for much longer. You can see those two exit that corner. It's going to be a second. There you go. There's Brian Kennedy. Then Adam Pohl also exiting, and Darren Treacle right there. So that will be more of the battle we'll want to watch for third. Along with the battle for the race lead. The gap just 1 car length between these two. Justin Craig dealing nicely with the pressure from Clint Fletcher. And here we go, nose to tail. Fletcher looks right, not enough room to make that happen. Justin Craig positioning that race car basically right in the middle of the track. And Fletcher trying to take a dive there. Not able to make it stick. 7 seconds now back to Adam Pohl, who's taken 3rd position from Brian Kennedy. We'll see if Pohl has any speed to get up there and challenge. Now side by side for the lead. Fletcher backs out of it. There wasn't going to be a lot of room to make that corner. What a battle for the top spot here. They've been going at it for at least like 5 minutes now. And a little bit longer on this lap. They should be coming back potentially for the white flag. In a few moments here, we're going to be getting back onto the long straightaway here. That takes us back towards the start-finish. Adam Pohl is losing a little bit of ground as these two continue to work together. and push each other nose to tail. You can see a little bit late braking there for Justin Craig as Fletcher kind of blowing up his entry, trying to get a better exit and gain in that way. And Adam Pohl, Brian Kennedy, they're going to have to work together on the straightaway if they want to make up some ground, because these two have just gotten onto the long stretch here. You can see just how far that goes. Going to be drafting going on here for Clint Fletcher. He may very well have an opportunity to step out of line and make a pass. He is closing up. There he goes. Looks driver's right. They'll be side by side. Might be able to pull along completely or pull forward as Fletcher now to the point. Here comes Justin Craig. Can he get a little bit of draft back and try and make the move back on the 69? And he'll do just that, but not enough room alongside Clint Fletcher. Into the braking zone there. And can't be any mistakes as Clint Fletcher perfectly smooth through, but how about Justin Craig keeping right there with him? Gonna try and put that pressure back on, but it looks like Clint Fletcher is gonna lead lap number 2. And now to the white flag, the battle still for the race lead, just about a half second. Only person even in shouting distance in terms of lap time to that 69 machine, that is Adam Pohl, but he is about 8 seconds behind here and might have some damage on that car as well, at least a little lick of it somewhere. But Clint Fletcher takes the lead away towards the end of lap number 2. He's got one more lap to go. Just probably about 13 or 12 and a half miles left in this race for him. There's probably at least 100 and some odd corners that he can still make a mistake in, and any of these drivers out here could make mistakes. Brian Kennedy has not let Adam Pohl get out very far, and Adam Pohl just trying to be, I think, conservative, knowing he's probably not going to get there to the top 2. Unless they make catastrophic mistakes. If there's any other battles for position, looks like Jesse Brannon has gotten rolling here. So he is riding in 9th position. Aaron Treacle, Brian Kennedy, they're about a second and a half apart. Matthew Gazenda about 3 seconds behind Dean Tulane. Clint Fletcher from last to first in this race. Like he's going to be the man to beat, but he'll have to come from the back again in race 2 if he finishes up here. It'll be a full field invert. And Justin Craig, rather than starting in 9th, will start back there towards about 14th position. Really good stuff so far here tonight. In this one, another exciting battle for the lead like we've seen in basically every race so far this season. And how about all the action there on lap number 1? They're pretty spaced out at this point, but what you kind of expect on a track of this scale. Brian Kennedy starting to make inroads here on the 11 of Adam Pohl, so maybe Pohl has used his stuff up. The Aston Martin losing a little bit of ground right here on lap number 3. And now there's going to be a little bit of draft spilled over to that 77 of Brian Kennedy. I know he's got damage, but BMW looks to be pretty strong here on the longer run. I say longer run, it's only lap number 3, but closing in on 40 miles completed in this race. Clint Fletcher has stretched his lead out now 3 seconds on this lap alone. He is absolutely flying around here, running nearly his qualifying time on the previous lap. He is going to probably improve on this lap here, but man, he's got to be careful. So much opportunity to make mistakes. Carlos Bonds and Rafael Torres, it's showing about 4 seconds right now between those two, 10th and 11th. And let's not forget, Rafael Torres, he was out in front for a moment there. We'll see what he can do. He'll have an opportunity to start closer to the front in sprint race number 2 as Clint Fletcher continuing to wheel this 69 machine. He is not holding back at all. He sees that gap increasing and he continues to push harder. No other battles for position as Treacle not able to keep up with Brian Kennedy, and Brian Kennedy just not able to close up anymore. To Adam Pohl, they've been between about a half second and 1.5 seconds at any given moment. As Pohl, though, a little mistake right there. Again, plenty of opportunities in this second half of the lap. It is possible Justin Craig could make a mistake as well. He's only got about 3.5 seconds back to Adam Pohl. That's how much faster the 11 has been here as well. But nobody can keep pace with that number 69 of Clint Fletcher. That Mercedes is just incredibly fast here. They will be working their way onto the long straightaway here in just a moment. Clint Fletcher nearly smooth sailing from this point onwards. A long right-hander as he works onto that long backstretch here. Justin Craig now getting there, so he's pretty much home free. The question is, can Brian Kennedy pull a little bit of draft right here? Is that damage going to hinder him too much to be able to close up? It's a whole second he'd have to gain. It doesn't look like he's closing at all. Yeah, definitely still losing ground, not able to pull any draft. Clint Fletcher closing in on the final few corners. The 69 of Clint Fletcher going to win sprint race number 1. Just a couple more small corners to go here. And across the line, it's going to be Clint Fletcher, sprint race 1. Congrats to him. What a drive from last to first. And here comes Justin Craig, second position. Adam Pohl, he'll pile in for third. And here comes Brian Kennedy in fourth. Darren Treacle, he'll finish in the 5th position. Dean Tulane, strong race from him, 10th to 6th. As they're creating a little bit of a roadblock there. Gazenda, he'll finish in 7th. Mike Nickum, a couple more corners yet for him. Looks like he'll finish in 8th. Jesse Brannon looks like he should come home in about 9th position. Assuming no major errors here in the final stretch. Rafael Torres looks like he should be coming home in 10th. Then there is potentially a battle here between Carlos Bonds and Colin Kortnick. 11th and 12th, but still about 5 seconds between them. Two cars off the racetrack are David Curtis and Donnie Eiley in 14th and 15th. Everybody onto the backstretch here. Callan Crocker just working his way onto there as well. So it looks to be pretty straightforward here. As Brandon across the line in 8th. Rafael Torres Gonna round out the top 10 after starting in 5th position. Carlos Bonds rolled off 2nd, but he's gonna come home 11th. A lot of time here to wrap up this one, but Colin Kortnick should finish 12th, Callan Crocker 13th, David Curtis 14th, and Donnie Eiley in 15th. So we are going to go to a quick commercial break. As these guys wrap up, we'll try and interview somebody right before race number 2, and we will be right back. Beltway Brewing Company is located in Sterling, Virginia, and proudly represents the DMV area. Check out their lineup of unique IPAs, lagers, sours, stouts, and even seltzers. Savory and delicious empanadas by Peruvian Brothers are now available in their tap room. For all things Beltway, go to beltwaybrewco.com and follow at Beltway Brew Co. on social media. SEO Mike helps businesses of all sizes achieve higher search engine rankings to drive more traffic and increase sales. Contact SEO Mike today for a free website evaluation and quote. Mention this ad for 15% off your initial setup. SEO Mike, marketing websites on the internet since 1997. Visit SEOMike.com.
Welcome to V-Speed, your home for sim racing excitement, providing dramatic moments from iRacing and beyond. We offer broadcasting for leagues across iRacing with specialized packages to help grow your league and advertise your sponsors.
Shot at it, I think, and right now Stravato with that advantage. It's half a car length the difference between first and second going into turn 1. He gives the bumper to Connor Horn.
Jim, these two have gone all year to get to this point. Jacob Shorba drifting up the racetrack. They make contact. The 88 goes around. The 95 goes around. The 12 caught in it.
Our design team can help you create anything from paint schemes to sim rig parts with expertise in 2D and 3D design. With 3D casting yourself, we can help you design and operate custom overlays to make your stream look as professional as possible. Our team can create and manage custom merchandise sales for you and your team. Check out our shop to see what we have in stock and how we can create some awesome merch for you. Check out our race replays on YouTube or catch us live weekly on Twitch. Visit us at vspeedsim.com to see how we can help you on your iRacing journey.
Back at the racetrack now. We're going to see if we can pull in Darren Treacle if he's in here. And you know what? He is not. So let's see if we can pull somebody else in really quickly. How about Justin Craig? If we can get him. He's going to be starting from the rear here pretty much. You know what? He's not in Discord as well. Dean Tulane. See if we can get Dean in here.
Carlos right now.
Hey Dean, sorry to interrupt you there. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, Dean, interesting race there for sprint race number 1. Was there anything you learned here that you could carry into race number 2?
Yeah, don't hit the wall. That's a key. When you have Adam pressuring you from behind, you tend to make a few mistakes. So I'll try not to do that this race.
Yeah, definitely saw a lot of guys make a lot of mistakes out there, but it's a complicated track, so definitely understandable. Do you have much experience at this this configuration? You know, before coming here tonight?
Not very much. I mean, we practiced this week. That's about it.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the most difficult tracks in the world, but you got a solid finish in race 1. Good luck in race number 2.
All right. Thank you very much, Adam.
Thank you. Dean Tulane, as he's going to roll off from 11th here in race 2. after what looks to be about a 6th place finish in race number 1. And taking a look up front, it'll be Callan Crocker, whose teammate Justin Craig led much of the first race, nearly 2 full laps, as green flag in the air for sprint race number 2. We're off and away from the Nordschleife. Thought I'd give you a little break from hearing my voice. I've been talking or commentating over commercials there for all of this broadcast, but man, what a good, clean opening sequence there for all these guys. 13 drivers in race number 2, so we lost a couple after the first race. Understandable, knowing how complicated this racetrack is. How about that battle right there? Matthew Gazenda, Darren Treacle side by side right in front of Mike Nickum. And Treacle will take away the 5th position as he works up already 7 spots from where he was supposed to start in this one. And out in front, Callan Crocker driving away from Rafael Torres. And you know what? Clint Fletcher is not in this race. The winner from sprint race number 1. Not in sprint race number 2. Oh, as Jesse Brannon slams the wall. Trying to work back onto the racing surface here. Gonna have quite a bit of right front damage. Could have suspension broken on that car, and they're side by side now, closing up on him. The 208 of Justin Craig. Remember how quick he was, as well as Adam Pohl. They're mired back here, almost 7 seconds already behind the race leader. And Adam Pohl already gained a point, I believe, on Brian Kennedy. Gonna be looking to gain even more here in this next race. But still a few positions behind the 77. Rafael Torres, he was quick in the opening bit of race number 1. Just a mistake or 2 there cost him, and he finished from the well behind. Again, lap times over 7 minutes for this racetrack. Oh, and Clint had an internet problem. That's so unfortunate for him. Would have been amazing to watch him battle from the back once again, but these guys already fighting for it up here at the race lead. Colin Kortnick in 3rd, about 4.4 seconds back. He's being hounded by Darren Treacle and Matthew Gazenda. And here comes Treacle, takes a peek to driver's right, trying to squeeze in there, and no room. Kortnick throws the block. We'll see what Darren can do here, if he can be bold enough to make the move. Every moment he waits is more time being lost. Now, an opportunity, no, he sets back in line. Not a good passing area of the racetrack right here. You see the lights flashing from the 70 of Treacle, trying to force the 35 into some kind of a mistake, as now he looks driver's right, and the 35 makes that mistake. Off into the barrier goes Kortnick, and all of these drivers will filter on through. Colin Kortnick goes from 3rd to 11th, just like that, and nose to tail behind Darren Treacle. Gazenda through to 4th. Nickum up to the top 5. Can they make some inroads here on the top 2, who are now just separated by less than half a second, but 7 seconds up the road here? Treacle from 12th to 3rd in this one. Nickum up to 5th. There was a battle right there. Justin Craig, I believe, got around Jesse Brannon. Tulane feeling the pressure from Brian Kennedy as we get stuck in the trees right there. Exciting stuff so far here on lap number 1, closing in towards about 2/3 of the lap complete. I think a moment there for Mike Nickum. He loses his spot. Tulane goes through to 5th, and he goes off track right away, trying to hang on to it. He does. He'll lose all that ground and then some. All the way back right here in front of Colin Kortnick, who's actually going to be able to get alongside. He'll stay behind him. Tulane goes from 5th to 10th, and that is how much a mistake will hurt you here in these early moments. Board here with Justin Craig. You can see just how fast it feels to ride on board. Maybe coming back to that long straightaway here. Oh, big moment right there. Good correction and good save. And this could be an opportunity for Adam Pohl to make up a few spots. Riding in 9th after starting 14th. He's gotten stuck around here. He's going to have a lot of draft. These guys all drafting off each other. Here comes the run developing, but he's going to run out of real estate at the end of the straightaway, and they are all over each other here side by side. Brian Kennedy, Mike Nickum, 5th and 6th. There goes Kennedy on through. Here comes Justin Craig, and Adam Pohl gets 2 tires on the grass. He has to slow up alongside Mike Nickum. That is going to be costly for him. And completing lap number 1, Callan Crocker out in front. It is Rafael Torres right here behind him. And over 8 seconds back to Darren Treacle. So not any progress made by the 70 once he got through to 3rd. But now maybe fancies an opportunity to close in a little bit with some clean running room. The battle is on back here. Look at Adam Pohl putting the bumper to Mike Nickum in the 57. He's going to be feeling the pressure from the 11 here, as well as Jesse Brannon. And there goes Pohl. Going to look driver's right, get the nose alongside. Backs out of it, though. And there goes Brannon, able to get it back on the track. And he'll fall to 10th, Tulane up to 9th. And they are going so fast through that section, 150 miles an hour or so over a blind hill. Top 2 still within about 0.6 of a second. So Torres put all that pressure on. He was right there. He's not done yet, though. Closes up a little bit through that section. And any straightaway that you might find on this track is going to be an opportunity for Torres to close up. Brian Kennedy closing in on Matthew Gazenda for 4th position. Brian Kennedy, what can you say? He's been consistent all season. Looking to continue that here tonight, and that is why he is the points leader. Oh, and a moment there for Callan Crocker. Battle for the lead now, side by side. Rafael Torres sends it in contact. Torres is gonna spin, hangs onto it then. But do they have steering damage? What a moment right there. Let's go take a look back at that. A bit of contact. And Cal and Crocker are able to keep it off the wall, but definitely makes hard contact with the left front on Rafael Torres, but doesn't seem to have affected either driver all that much. It was pretty direct contact to the wheel. And he is still there, putting pressure on a little bit too fast into that corner there. They'll lose some time on exit. Here comes Treacle closing in because of that now within 4.5 seconds. We'll have to see what the lap times look like at the stripe when they come back around. Only about halfway around this lap, though. And Rafael Torres closing back in again, just about 2.5 car lengths. Got to be careful not to overdo it. He's really pushing that race car right now. And he's got to remember he's also got that dirty air. Even though it just doesn't feel like that would be even a factor at a track like this where there's so many twists and turns, the dirty air, the closer you get, the more it affects you as they go through the carousel here. Aaron Treacle also works his way around. Brian Kennedy, Justin Craig, Adam Pohl. This is quite the camera shot here. But Justin Craig and Adam Pohl nose to tail here. Pohl up to 6th, trying to get 5th away. How about Rafael Torres? He's going to try again. No, backs out of it that time. Goes from nearly alongside to now almost 1 full second behind as Treacle continues to chip away. Now 4 seconds the distance to 3rd place. Great battling up here for this race lead. These two very evenly matched. I think Torres just a tiny bit quicker. He's being very aggressive though. Crocker, Callan Crocker now sees the gap continuing to shrink once again. Darren Treacle still about 4 seconds, but he's in sight of these two now. Adam Pohl has gotten by Justin Craig, and so has Mike Nickham and Dean Tooling. Did Justin Craig have problems? He is slow right now, went off the racetrack. Take a look at the replay here. Maybe a little contact. Ooh, big hit. And he has taken it behind the wall. So Justin Craig out of this one. That moves Adam Pohl up a position, and now he's in the wall. And in the wall again. Huge hit. The 2nd place points driver. And he is going to have some suspension and steering issues from that. Those are big hits on that race car. GT4 machine's not meant to take those impacts. They are not NASCARs. And even they might not sustain an impact like that. Brian Kennedy moves to 3rd now. Darren Treacle had some issues. He's got some damage, I think, on the front end of that race car. Yeah, a little bit on the right front as Brian Kennedy up to 3rd. And Rafael Torres is going to make the move for the race lead. Goes on by. Callan Crocker tries to get behind him, pull the draft back. Can he make a move into the braking zone here? Torres with the block. Here comes Crocker. Looks drivers left. Not going to be able to get in alongside. And almost the same situation as last race, except it was a different hang loose driver leading. They got passed on the same point on the racetrack. And white flag in the air now. Rafael Torres, your race leader. Callan Crocker very close in terms of lap times between these two. And he get the move back on him, or will these two get together again? And can Brian Kennedy somehow sneak out his first race win? Oh, and there he goes. Crocker around. Brian Kennedy's got to be so careful here. Callan's still sitting on the racetrack now. Gets off the racing surface. Here comes Darren Treacle on by. Callan right in the middle of the track. Yeah, they've got to watch out for him here. And now able to get it pointed back around, but second place after leading nearly the first 2 laps. Gonna be a disappointing finish for him. Rafael Torres assuming no mistakes here. He's got clean, clear racetrack in 6.5 seconds to give. But 6 seconds, that was the difference between Brian Kennedy and Rafael Torres' lap times. Don't count anything out just yet. One mistake by Rafael. And that could be enough. Still so much track left to go. Sorry about that. I guess I was hovering over the timing and scoring window a little too long. And yeah, see, even moments right there like that, Rafael pushing so hard, and he's got time to give, man. He can lay off about 10% here. Maybe not 10%, maybe about 5%. Is Darren Treacle, with his problems, still going to be able to come away with a podium, it looks like, and also good strong finish in race number 1. See, actually, Adam Pohl, if he can finish in 4th, that car is still giving him some problems, but he's gotten around Mike Nickum. Dean Tooley could be in for a top 5 here if he can get around the 57. Be a great performance for him tonight, which would be, right now he's looking at 2 6th place finishes. Could get himself a top 5 though, and how much more confidence does that give you to get up there in the top 5 at a track like this? Brian Kennedy not able to close up at all right now on Rafael Torres, about a half lap down. Closest battle, 4 positions, going to be between Tulane and Mike Nickum. You see just the draft on this stretch here alone. He's closing right up to about a car length, but not able to see those apexes. That's the main thing that's a problem when you're right behind a car. And he's going to look driver's left to try and peek the nose there. Not going to get alongside just yet, but at least kind of show him the nose, show him that he is there in case that 57 makes a mistake. And they're both waiting in case the 11 makes a mistake. As Darren Treacle, did he toe to pit road? As he had a problem here. Looking at quick replay. I'm not sure. I think we might have lost him for a bit. Maybe connection problems. Clint Fletcher with his connection issues. And Darren dropping through the order. It's possible we just lost him. No, it looks like he might be back right now. But the top 2 still remain the same. Torres, then Kennedy. The gap about 5 seconds at the moment. And 3rd place is going to be up for grabs potentially if Darren Treacle's connection falls through. That could promote Adam Pohl as he goes off into the wall. And how many more impacts can that number 11 take? Beaten and battered on all sides. Mike Nickum and then Dean Tulane. This battle here, 4th and 5th now. Not too many opportunities left for Brian Kennedy to close the gap and for Rafael Torres to make a big mistake. He gets on the grass right there, though, pushing the limits still in the 777. Brian can just see him out the windshield there when they get on some of these longer, clear sections. They'll be working back towards the start-finish line here. Not too long. It'll be the long stretch. And the gap about 4.5 seconds right now. So he has closed up about 1.5 seconds this lap, but it's not going to be enough unless Torres has some real problems in the last handful of corners. This is the long straightaway. Brian Kennedy only gaining a few hundredths on this stretch right here. Keep an eye, though. Dean Tulane, he's going to be in drafting distance. Can he make the move and get a 4th place finish here tonight? Keeping an eye on that. Brian Kennedy, though, 4.3 seconds behind. And here we go. Torres into the final few turns. Hard on the brakes here. Back to the left and then back to the right, and it'll be across the stripe. Rafael Torres is going to win sprint race number 2. How about that? And Dean Tulane makes the pass on Mike Nickum. Can he hang on here for the last few corners? Get himself a nice 4th place finish. Looks like he's going to be able to do just that. Nickum sends it in deep. Not going to be able to do it. Brian Kennedy 2nd, Adam Pohl 3rd. Dean Tulane, he'll finish in 4th. Mike Nickum in 5th. Gazenda comes home in the 6th position. Callan Crocker, after his issue there, in 2nd. And leading lap number 1, he'll finish 7th. Carlos Bonds now through the final corner. He'll finish in 8th. Good solid race from him. David Curtis working his way down the backstretch here, finishing in 9th without major mistakes. Colin Kortnick, he'll come home in 10th. Jesse Brannon looks like he'll come home in 11th. And then Clint Fletcher did make it on the racetrack, but he'll finish last here in 14th, unfortunately missing the start. And joining, he'll finish 2 laps down in the number 69 machine. But how about Rafael Torres taking the race win here? Let's see if we can get a good view of his race car. Congrats to him on the race win. See if we can pull him in to the broadcast booth. Get a quick word in with our top 3, and then driver of the day is going to be Dean Tulane. We already talked to him, though. So how about Carlos Bonds for his effort there in race number 2? Good job by him. We'll pull him in as our driver of race number 2. All right, let's see if we can get Rafael Torres in. Oh, actually, you know what? Let's pull in Clint as driver of the day here. Getting the word in that we should be doing that. So we will do that. And let's first pull in Rafael Torres. Rafael Torres, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Copy, Adam.
Oh, man, what a battle between you and Callan right there for the first couple of laps. Ultimately, you worked past him, and he made a mistake, and you had clean and clear racetrack around you for lap number 3. But you had speed there in race 1. You know, some issues for you in that one, but how's it feel to get it done here at the Nordschleife?
It's a good feeling. It's a track that I love in real life and on the sim. I just wish that you know, he would have given me a little more room before we touch. You know, Callan made a mistake on the right-hander, push wide. I got some steam, and I had to lift a bit, you know, just to, because I didn't know what he was going to do. So I took the inside and gave him plenty of room on the outside. But his mind was set to fight me for the next corner. He left me about, I don't know, like 3/4 of a car plus the curving, and the curving just, spin me onto him, and then we collided. So it's a good feeling, but I didn't want to touch with him. I felt like he threw the car at me a little bit, so it's all good.
Yeah, ultimately it works out for you, and you guys continued onwards, and you get the race win here. Definitely an exciting battle, all race long between you two. And it looks like next week, let's see where we're going to be going. Next week looks like the Hockenheim Ring. So how do you feel about going out there?
This was a one-off. I'm just here, passing through.
Gotcha.
Probably won't be here next week.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha. Well, you come out here, you take a win away from these guys, so great job with that, and a lot of fun watching you battle. Anybody you want to give a shout out to for the win?
All the sponsors, keep sponsoring the league and inviting new sponsors. If you want to support the league, just go ahead and sponsor the league. That's the best way to support the action and all the entertainment we provide. And that's it.
Awesome, Rafael. Well, congrats again on the race win, and we'll catch you soon.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Go to second place finisher now. That is Brian Kennedy. Coming home in the runner-up position. Brian, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I have a copy.
Well, man, a couple of very consistent races as you've done all season. Look like you pretty much broke even there points-wise with Adam Pohl tonight, so should maintain that points gap. But not quite enough to get up there and get Rafael, but man, you had some good speed here tonight.
Yeah, first race was rough. My own fault. I was a little too fast on cold tires through that high-speed left kink there. A lot of cars went off, and then I had another mistake later too. So my car was really hurting first race, but finished good enough, I guess. And then second race got through a few cars, and then some attrition. I don't know what happened. Darren and I think Callan had some spins there, and then Darren eventually disconnected. So yeah, just kind of doing some open laps, trying to keep it calm and focused, and worked out.
Yeah, and you were the fastest car there at the end, just not quite close enough to get it done, but definitely consistent, clean season for you here so far. And we go to Hockenheim Ring next week. How do you feel about going out there?
We were just talking about that. We might be Zolder next week.
Oh,
Take a
okay.
look here. But either one. I mean, Zolder's been a little while since I've been there, and Hockenheim Ring has some nasty sausage curves. That's all I remember about that one. So yeah, they're both fun tracks though. I like all these European tracks.
Yeah,
Quite a bit of character to them, so.
this one is one of the most interesting and difficult tracks right in the world. So great job out there and keeping it clean, for the most part in both races. So good, solid, consistent night as you've done all season. Anybody you want to give a shout out to for the runner-up here?
Yeah, give it out to Scott for actually scheduling this track. He's not personally a fan, but I know there's been some demand from some of us for a while. So thanks for doing that, Scott. And then SEO Mike, Buttway Brewery, our sponsors, of course. And finally, the Gas Burn guys. Good luck this weekend, Yakov. He's in pit doing a race in his E36.
Awesome. It's always cool to hear.
So yeah.
Yeah, always cool to.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck to him. It's cool to hear when you guys are out there doing the real world stuff. I see it in the Discord, and it looks like you guys always have a ton of fun doing all that. And congrats on the good finish here, and we'll catch you wherever we're going next week.
That's right. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you. Go to third place finisher now. That's going to be Adam Pohl, who was second in points coming into tonight. Adam Pohl, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You get a copy.
Hey Adam, how are you tonight?
Hey, not too bad, man. A couple of good, solid, podium finish races here for you tonight at the Nordschleife. How did it feel to kind of work your way through traffic in both races? And car's not as clean probably as you like, but good, solid finish here.
Yeah, first race was solid. It was I kept my nose clean and just made my way up through, and was pretty happy with my result and the lap times I did and everything else. Second race, not feeling so hot about that one. I don't know if you caught me getting into Justin there, but I got into his back end and put him in the wall and feel pretty crappy about it. He's a clean racer. He had an awesome first race, and took him out in the second one, and he didn't deserve that. So
Yeah, and you'll have those moments, especially at a track like this where there's over 150 turns. You know, there's so many opportunities when you're racing close like that. Like you said, just close racing there. I think you just barely clipped the back end, but either way, great, really great finishes for you here, both on the podium in both races. We go to, I'm not quite sure which track next week. I've been told Zolder, I've been told Hockenheimring, but how do you feel about either of those places, depending on which one we go to?
Yeah, hopefully get some good practice in, get up to speed, and try and make my way towards the front again.
Yeah, you're second in points, I know, coming into tonight, and I think it's going to stay about the same gap. So not too many races left this season. Going to be interesting to see the championship battle with those few races remaining. But again, great finishes. Anybody want to give a shout out to?
I'll just thank the league guys again. Scott couldn't be here tonight, but thank him for getting everything set up and running, and Brian and Darren and sponsors SEO Mike and Beltway Brewing. So thanks to those guys, and it was a fun night other than my crappy hit on Justin. So sorry again, Justin.
And thank you for taking some time here after and talking with us, and we'll catch you next week.
Yeah, have a good one. Thanks.
Thank you. You too. All right, and then we're going to go to driver of the day, who we're going to pick Clint Fletcher as driver of the day here tonight. It's not showing up on that graphic and not on that one either, but this is Clint Fletcher on the screen right now, so we'll pull him into the booth. Clint Fletcher, Adam in the V-Speed booth, you get a copy.
Yep.
Well, man, not how you wanted it to go in race number 2 with the connection problems, but man, how about race number 1, last to first? And you just left them in the dust there. How did it feel to do that?
Pretty good. I know coming into this, like from practice and everything, I was a couple seconds quicker. And I was telling Scott and the guys, like, I've practiced this track since Gran Turismo, so it's engraved in the brain.
Yeah, that's really the only place I know it from, and any experience I have. It's such an incredible track. Obviously, one of the most difficult in the world, if not the most difficult track. So what did it really take you to just, keep it clean and keep it on track, pushing as hard as you were?
I mean, consistency is key. Knowing your limits, where to push hard, when to back off. Like when I was following Justin through that one back section with it's pretty straight, but has some turns. I knew passing him or side by side would be catastrophic. Just playing it smart in the long game. Like you said in the beginning of the broadcast, it's a 14-mile track, 140-something turns, so you have plenty of opportunities to pass.
Yeah, and plenty of opportunities for mistakes we saw a lot of other drivers make, but you kept it, perfectly clean and on track there, and especially in race number 1. But only a few races left in the season. We go to, I'm not quite sure, either Zolder or Hockenheimring next week. How do you feel about either of those places?
I don't even know how to pronounce that track, really. Not my strongest. I've actually put in some time at Zolder, so we ran that track with the GTE cars, so I think Zolder I can do pretty well. Other track, I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes for everybody at some of these, because I know there's probably quite a few of you guys in here that have not gotten a lot of experience at many of these tracks, and I'm not super familiar with all of them either, but and you guys put on a good show week in and week out regardless, and tonight no exception. Your driver of the day, and anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Like always, BMW Club for putting this on, and I think that's about it. And of course you for the broadcasts. Can't wait to watch it later.
Yeah, this was definitely a pretty fun one here tonight. So congrats again on the win in race number 1, and we will catch you next week.
Awesome. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you. I'll do it for our interviews here in race number 2. And let's take a look at the full results here tonight from the Nordschleife. Let's take a look. Rafael Torres comes home your race winner in the second race, with just one lead change there. Brian Kennedy will finish in second. Nana Pohl comes home in third. Dean Tulien with a strong finish in fourth. Mike Nickham finishes fifth. Matt Gazenda, he'll come home in sixth. Seventh was Callan Crocker. Eighth, Carlos Bonds. David Curtis finishes in ninth. Colin Kortnick rounds out the top 10. In 11th, it was Jesse Brandon. 12th, Darren Treacle. 13th, Justin Craig. 14th, Clint Fletcher. 15th, showing as Andrew Van Cleef, who did not start. And then Donnie Eiley showing 16th, who I believe only ran race number 1 and not here in race number 2. So good night of racing here this evening. Rafael Torres wins the second sprint race, and it was Clint Fletcher taking home the first sprint race. Thank you so much for joining us on V-Speed. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Catch us next Tuesday with the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series season opener from Daytona, and then right back here on Thursday with the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League from either Zolder or Hockenheim Ring. Hopefully we get some word on that. Looks like not quite clear on either one, but one of those two will be our next one up on the schedule here. Thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow us on social media if you did. We will catch you all next time.